Hi, Cheryl. How are you? Nice to see you here. Hi, Loie. How are you? Good to see you. Heather, hi. How are you? You guys doing the wave thing? Nice. I'm just going to give it one more minute. Just, I never know. Yeah, I started doing this last week and I was like, I wonder how many people will show up live. And you just never know. So last week, I think we had 9 people here live. And this week, I'm glad you guys are here. It's great. Do a recording as well, and I'll post the recording so that you'll be able to see it. It's going to be pretty casual. Daniel, I see you're back on mute. I was glad you just had a chance to chat for a couple of minutes before we dive in. I'm just going to sip my coffee for another minute and then we'll get started. How's Monday looking for you guys? Okay, cool. Loie, you too? Monday good?
Yeah.
Number 3 and 4, all organized yet?
Yeah.
Just saying. Oh, it's not first thing in the morning on Monday for you. It's like
No.
almost time.
No, it's noon.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're here. Let me just let a couple more people in. Hi, Larry. Glad that you've joined us today. I can't see you, but good to see that you're here. Vasily, nice to see you again. Welcome back. Nice to see you guys. I'm so glad you're here. Hey, Larry. Nice to see you again. How are you?
Where are you?
I am well. I'm here. I'm here. You
Oh.
see me waving at you.
You're the,
I
you're
got
the
it on gallery
moderator?
this time. I'm trying a new way.
You're the moderator?
I'm in. No moderator. I'm it. It's just me.
Okay.
We're all casual today. All right. So let's dive in and get started. How do I want to approach today? I want today to be pretty relaxed, pretty casual. I encourage you to use the chat. How we're going to structure this is I'm just going to welcome everybody, and I'd love to hear where you're calling in from or where you're zooming in from. I know where some of you are, but I'd love to see it. Just type in the chat here. I don't know if Biljana is going to be joining us. She said she was coming, and that would be someone from Europe. She lives in Sarajevo. She was here last week. Heather, I know Chicago. Glad you're here. I've got another person who may be joining from Chicago as well. Loie, yes, Washington, D.C. Welcome. So glad you're here. Daniel, I know that you're in the Vancouver area, and I know you're going to type it in pretty soon too. And Vasily, again, Cape Town, South Africa. You have the prize of the farthest away from me. I'm in the Vancouver, Canada area, and we have got an absolutely stunningly gorgeous day out here. So I'm so pleased just to start Monday like this. And if you guys could see out my little window here, I have 2 wood ducks who have hopped onto my feeder, and they're actually getting ready to start nesting. So I'm really excited about that. And Cheryl, Southern California, Brea, California, Southern California, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. That's great. Okay, so let me give you what we're going to be talking about today. I want you to use the chat. I want this to be more of a conversation at times. So I will come and ask you guys questions. I want to hear your input. I don't really want to get into like lecture mode. And I will give you an email either later today or tomorrow with information about how to look at the replay. And one of the reasons that I say that is there's a lot of people who have registered to attend today, but they're not here live. And so I want to welcome them too. Like if the timing doesn't quite work for you and you've registered and you're here watching the replay, welcome. I'm glad to see you here, and I would love to get questions and hear from you as well. So please, I want this to be as inclusive as possible. Let's start with this. What do you want to accomplish this week? Like something, an actual physical action that you want to get accomplished this week. And I would love to use this space. I'll be opening the Zoom room up again next Monday. I would love to use this space as a place for you guys to have a little bit of accountability. So type it in the chat. I'm going to download the chat. I hope to see you here next time. And then I want to hear how it goes. So what do you want to accomplish this week? Vasily, sign a new client. I sent a proposal to today. Oh, good. Yeah, it is completely possible for you to do this. I know that if you're in the area where you're submitting proposals for clients to work with you, that you've done all the groundwork and that you're well prepared. And I'm just going to hold that for you as well. Larry, I see you typing. Who else we got? Chat, chat, chat. Guys. Heather, you're typing. I can see you. Signed 2 new clients this week. Excellent. Very good, Cheryl. I'm holding that for you too. Yeah, it'll be exciting. What are you going to do when you create those new clients? How are you going to celebrate? I'd love to hear that. Larry from Montreal, good. Looking for the fastest lead generation technique for your coaching business. Larry, can you put a pin in that? And I've got some time at the end of our call where you can ask questions and we can talk about that a little bit, okay? Lois, send out an email to a couple of new clients. Excellent, good. And you know, I like that because it's super specific. It is completely something that you can do. And then there's this extra thing that I want you to consider is that when you do that thing, when you take that action, I want you to remember to congratulate yourself that this was the thing that you committed to and then that you did it. And the reason that that is important is that we're building these new pathways in our brain. We've got such a bias towards negativity in our brain, but reminding ourselves of what we're accomplishing, reminding ourselves of what we do well is super important. Heather, reach out via email and social media with 2 soft offers. Very nice. I love that. Yeah, and I'm going to be hearing how that goes. Daniel, last week I said I was going to speak to 5 prospective clients and sign 2. I actually signed 3. Daniel, excellent. I'm so excited for you. This week, I'm going to speak to 4 prospective clients, and my goal is to sign 2 clients. Listen, Daniel, you're on fire. I'm so impressed and so thrilled for you. How many clients do you need before your practice is full? And what are you going to do when you create? Will you create a waiting list? Will you create a group? What you going to do? Give some thought to that. You don't need to pop that in the chat, but I'm really curious about that. So who have I missed? Have I missed anybody? Not yet. Okay. Very nice. Excellent. Okay. So that is going to be your accountability for this week. So if you come back here next Monday, I want to hear, how did it go? And I want you to also know that sometimes it's not about whether you actually did the thing. You know, did you actually send out those soft offers? Did you actually create 2 new clients? Did you actually do those things? But it's about the growth and who you're becoming, and that you're sticking with it, and that you decided to do something and you're committed to doing it. And you're in doing that, you're committing to yourself. And that is like, I don't know, in my perspective, that's like 80% of building a coaching practice is deciding and committing, and then committing to yourself and then following through. It's not a difficult business to build, but it's that commitment that really, I don't know, gives you that extra boost. So I'm super excited, and I'd love to see you guys. Tell me next week how it goes. All right. So we know what you're going to accomplish this week. I know I'm going to download that chat. Let's talk about the topic for today. After we talk about the topic, I've got a little worksheet that I'll put the link into for a Google Doc that you can download. You can use it to do the work if you want, but you don't have to. You can just grab a blank piece of paper, you can grab your journal, and you can just do the writing in there. I want to give you enough time to do a little bit of self-reflection on this particular topic. I'll ask you some questions. I'm a coach. Coaches ask questions, right? And then give you a little bit of time to do your reflection. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I know how busy we get and how we think, oh yeah, I'm going to do that thing. And then we just kind of don't really get to it. So my goal is to help move you forward just a little bit more today. And that includes giving you a place for reflection, a place for some questions that I'll be asking you around this topic, and a place for you to actually do it so that you're starting on this topic already having some traction. So, all right. So the topic we're going to talk about is called one question. And I know that might sound a little bit cryptic. After we do the topic and you guys do your little bit of working on it and everything, we'll have some space for questions and answers. And we'll also have some space for some laser coaching, if that's going to work for you guys. The timing, I figure we're going to wrap it up at about 10 minutes to the hour. So you got lots of time to get ready for your next call, your next appointment, to get on with your day. So really respect your time, and I'm glad you're here. Okay, so let's talk about this one question thing. Now, I'm going to put a link to the worksheet in the chat here. So you guys go ahead, download it, use it, whatever you like to do. If you want to print that off, great. If you want to just use a blank piece of paper, great. We're talking about a one question approach. And I didn't invent this, but once you understand how this approach works, it's going to help you find an easier way to achieve any goal that you want to achieve. Using this will help you. I want to show you how to apply it. It's simple to apply, and I want to get you started on creating your one question. And the way I think about the one question thing is it's kind of like the Lord of the Rings, you know, the one ring to rule them all. This is how I feel about this one question as well. I've been using it in my business for about 3 months now. And my overarching thing that I want to do right now is I want to keep things simple. I want to keep it so that I'm not adding complexity. And that's what I'm hoping for you guys as well. I would encourage you to take this approach and apply it in your business, apply it in your life, apply it to any goal that you want. So last Monday, we talked about your compelling reason, your why. And this gave you some reason, like why you wanted to do the things that you wanted to do, gave you a space to think about this. But now what I'm after is using this one question as your filter to guide what you do to reach that goal, right? Because we can have a big why, we can have a motivation, but then we actually got to do something to make that happen. And so thinking about your why and thinking about your goal using this one question approach is kind of like a filter. So let me just talk a little bit about goals for you. Now, I'm not a goal expert by any means, but when I think about a goal, I think of something really to the point. I want to create 20 coaching clients. I want to fill my calendar. I want to create $10,000 months. I want to create 250,000 this year in my business. I want this XYZ thing. But in some ways, consider that with the goal, sometimes it's not about the actual thing. It's about how you're going to feel when you achieve it. It's about who you're growing into. Like, every goal that we want is because we want to feel a certain way. Why do you want a fully booked coaching practice? Well, for me, when I was starting out, why did I want that? I wanted the freedom to know that I never had to go back to corporate again, ever, no matter what, that my needs were going to be met, my financial needs were met. And it also, my other why is I wanted that freedom. I wanted the freedom of being able to build something in my own way, in a creative way, in a way that served me and served my clients and served my family. So it's not about the goal so much as the feeling behind the goal. You know, so if you were looking at a weight loss goal, completely non-business oriented, why do you want to lose 10 pounds? Well, because maybe you want to feel good in your body. Maybe you want to feel like you've got more energy. You want to feel something. So consider that whenever you're doing goal setting. It's just a little aside for you to think about. And then the action of creating the goal that you decide like I said, it's not just about that bullseye when you reach it. It's not just about the creating 3 new clients. It's who you're becoming along the way. How do you handle the stumbles? How do you handle the roadblocks? How do you handle the places where you maybe feel a little discouraged and you'd rather sit on the couch and watch the next episode of Yellowstone? Like, how do you manage that? That is how you learn to become that individual who holds that goal. So consider that it's about growth, that it's about evolving as an individual, and it's about the feeling that you want to create. So let me dive into this 1 question approach. I know, this is just my perspective, I know that it's easy for me to make things super complicated. And somehow, and Heather knows this because she's heard me say this, I'll do everything to try and make that goal come true. Like, it's like throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? You know, I'm pointing it where you are on my screen. But Heather and I have talked about that before. And I know that I keep thinking if I do more and I make it more complex and do all these things and create a fancy funnel and do all this, that somehow that's going to help me reach my goal. And what I'm finding is that's not true. It's the simple things, doing those simple, powerful things over and over and over, and learning from them and moving towards mastery instead of try this thing and then get distracted, and then try this thing and get distracted. So let me tell you just a little random story. So for me, when I first started out as a coach, I decided I was going to be a coach. And then it got hard, like it does. It just does that when you're going to build a business and you've never built one before. And so then I decided that it would be a much better idea to create a digital course and launch that digital course. So I went and I built a digital course and I launched it a few times. And yeah, I sold some things. And I really realized that it was a ton of work to build a digital course. Then I decided that it wasn't a digital course that was going to help me get my goal. What I really needed was I needed a membership, because that was the way. So I went from a coaching business to a digital course to creating a membership. And guess what? I did that too. And on and on and on. Oh, and then I had to write a book, because a book was an excellent way for me to build a business. So I looked for all these ways that I thought would be easier. And all I was doing was avoiding discomfort, just avoiding the discomfort of getting face-to-face with people, of helping individuals, of helping groups of people. And I kept doing all this complex work just to avoid the discomfort. So just notice if that's true for you. Notice if that's one of the places where you kind of look for a different path, something that's going to be a little bit easier. I'm not asking you to write anything. I just kind of want you to reflect for a second while I sip my coffee. So we talked about throwing spaghetti at the wall. I told you a little bit about my journey. And about 3 months ago, I read this book called The Gap in the Game by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. And I was fascinated with one of the things that he talked about in there. And his talk was about one question. And when I say one question in this context, on this, in this little discussion group, one is capitalized. And if I could make it capitalized and bolded in a size 20 font, I would. Okay, so the focus is on one. One is simple. One is simply elegant. One is an excellent filter. And so how he described it was wonderful. I loved how he described this concept of one question, but I dug a little bit deeper and I found out that there's a leadership company that is entirely based on using this one question approach to build businesses, to build teams, to build leadership within organizations, to build organizational proficiency in reaching organizational goals. And so here's the story of how. So back for many years, there was a team of British rowers. They had this big desire to win. And you guys can see I'm reading this. And I want to read it because I think it's a powerful and short story. So they had this big desire. They wanted to win. They were super underachieving men's 8. And they had been underachieving for years and years and years. But these guys had like that fire. They really wanted to do something incredible. And in 1998, they set this thing that they called a crazy goal. The crazy goal was to win gold at the Sydney Olympics. And they developed a whole new way of approaching it. And that was challenging everything they did, every choice they made, every action they took by using one question, that one question. And their question was, will it make the boat go faster? So every time they were faced with a choice, every time they were faced with, should I do this or that? They asked that question, will it make the boat go faster? So notice the question, super simple. It takes you nothing to remember that question. And the goal of a men's 8 rowing team is speed. That's how you win. You get faster, right? So, and then they just kept applying it. They applied it for 2 years. And so by focusing on one simple question, an elegant way of deciding what to do, they focused on ownership, incremental growth, the daily choices, decisiveness, and follow through. And the results started to improve. And on September the 25th, 2000, that exact same crew won gold in the Sydney Olympics. And I've watched the race. They were so undervalued by the commentators. They were just kind of like, oh yeah, and there's the British team. They just kind of blew them off. And then all of a sudden, these guys started to advance and started to pull ahead. And the commentators were shocked. But here's how they did it. They asked that one question over and over and over. And so how can we apply that in our coaching practice? How can we apply that to our goals, right? Like that to me was like, wouldn't that be cool if we could all use something like that and find a much, much simpler way to grow our business? So that's what I want for you. I want you to find one question. Keep your business simple. Keep it elegantly simple and move towards mastery as opposed to chasing shiny objects. And you guys, I've learned it the hard way. And so that's why I just wanted to chat with you about it today. So here's the kinds of questions that they would have asked themselves or choices they would have been faced with, that British rowing team. Should we try this new paint? Well, will it make the boat go faster? Yes or no. Notice this binary answer, yes or no. There's a party tonight. Should I stay out late and drink a lot of beer? Will it make the boat go faster? We're training tomorrow. Yes or no. Should I eat that donut? Well, will it make the boat go faster? Yes or no. Should we try this new training regimen? Will it make the boat go faster? I'm having a fight with my teammate. Should I bury the hatchet? Or do I need to be right? Well, will it make the boat go faster? If you pull together cohesively at a team, as opposed to holding grudges, how's that going to affect your performance? So today we're going to talk about your one question. But what do you guys think about this? Like, type in the chat here. What do you think about this concept? Does it intrigue you? Is it something that you're like, never thought about it that way? Or do you think it's too simple? Do you think it's too simplified? Yeah, thanks, Vasily. It will certainly help me focus and keep the goal in mind. And for me, that's what I found as well. Like I said, I've been using in my business for about 3 months now. Aha, Heather, I actually just used it with my daughter yesterday. Good on you. Take that stuff that we talk about and apply it. Yeah. And I found that even though I know the concept once and I've used it, I like to remind myself. That's how I learn. Cheryl, thank you. I think it's powerful. Loie, love it. I read a story about Southwest Airline and their underlying question. Oh yeah, does that keep us the best low-cost airline out there? Powerful. Yeah, that's super powerful. I would also encourage you, if you're fascinated with this story, go onto YouTube. There is a fellow who works in the consulting company that was created around this, using this question as a management tool. And he has a really interesting talk. I think it's fascinating. And I think that it's a place for us to get out of the way of our own egos and actually think, well, wait a minute, why does it have to be complicated? What if we could make it simple? What if somehow that made us so much more efficient that we could create what we wanted with a lot less effort by just asking this question over and over and over? So this is the place where I'm going to ask you guys to journal. And you may already have a goal that you want to apply this to, and that's awesome. So if I'm looking at a goal, I'm looking at something that's super specific, like, will you know you've reached it when you get there? You know, if it's something a little bit elusive, you don't know how you're measuring success. And so in the handout, you're going to see on page 2, I'm asking you to just choose a 90-day goal. So it doesn't have to be, this doesn't have to be your long-lasting, forever dream goal. This can just be something incremental that you're working on for the next quarter. And your 90 days can start today. It can start February 7th and then go to March, April, May 7th, say, might be May 6th, depending on the number of days in the month. But if you focus on 90 days, I find that that's something that is really tangible for me. And then every day I'm applying this question over and over and over to my 90-day goal. This is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want. And I'm measuring it over and over and over. Every day I'm seeing my progress. Every day I'm asking that question. And I've found that my progress is a lot faster. And I'm doing it with 2 goals. Like, I would recommend no more than 2. For me, I always have a business goal. And thank you, Cheryl, bite-sized chunks, you got it. I always have a business goal because I love business and this is my thing that I love to build. And then I have a health goal as well. So what do you want? It's the time for you guys to write. What do you want? What's your 90-day goal? I'll give you about a minute to write it all down. Another 10 seconds and then come back to me. Everybody got a goal? Something that you want to achieve in 90 days? Heather, I see head nodding. Thumbs up. Cheryl, yeah, great. Good. Larry, how's it going? Daniel, I can't see you. I know you're not on camera. Excellent. Good stuff. Thank you, Vasily. So let me give you a couple of little examples if this is something that you're a little bit sticky on. So for your business, how much money do you want to make in the next 90 days? That's an easy thing. It's easy for you to measure. Clients, how many new clients in the next 90 days? Or for coaches, how many hours a week do you want to be coaching at the end of 90 days? See, that's super specific. I can't forget it. I'm going to remember forever and ever and ever that this is what I want, right? Larry, 3 paying clients in 90 days. Well done. Okay, it's so specific. You're going to know right away if you've achieved it or not. And if we don't achieve that thing, it's okay. It just means that it might take you 90 days or it might take you 95. You're going to keep going. Like, it's not like you stop. Loie, 25 hours of paid coaching. Well done. Okay, so that is it 25 hours a week or 25 hours a month? 5? Okay, good stuff. Larry, 10K per month to start. Nice, good work. Okay, so another example would be finishing a project. So for example, if you wanted to launch a podcast, so your goal might be create and launch your podcast and record 6 episodes and have them ready to go. So it could be project-based, could be money-based, can be something to do with your life. Maybe achieving a specific strength goal. If you're a gym person, I want to bench press 100 pounds. Weight loss goal, lose 10 pounds forever. Not just lose 10 pounds, but lose it and it's gone. Social media detox is another place that you could focus on as well. Good stuff. Oh, good. You're going to do the 5x5, Loie. Yeah. And you're already halfway there. Nice. Excellent. So you chose that one goal. That's great. How are you going to feel when you accomplish that goal? And by feeling, I want you, remember I said we all want goals because we're going to feel a certain way. So let's own that emotion right now. Will you feel proud? Will you feel like satisfied? Will you feel empowered? How are you going to feel? I'm going to give you just a couple of seconds to write down some emotion words there. Other, empowered, yes. Anybody else type in their feeling word? It's all about the feelings. Purposeful, yes, Loie, purposeful. Yeah, I love that. That feels strong to me. Focused. I like it. Okay. All right. You guys got your feelings? Accomplished. Yes. That feeling of accomplished is one of my favorite feelings that I like to cultivate. It makes me feel like I'm on track here. Yeah, things are going in the right direction. I love it. So at the moment when you reach that goal, so at the moment when you finished your 5th client with 5 sessions, Loie, at the moment, Larry, when you've tallied up your sales for the month and you got $10,000, at the moment where you've got 3 paying clients, how are you going to be thinking? What will you be thinking to yourself? Thoughts are sentences, a couple of words. Our thoughts create our feelings. Next, maybe. Next. How about I did it? I set a goal and I achieved it. Yeah. I'm super intentional about my thoughts, pumped up for future and energized. I want to do more. Vasily, yes. And for me, when I see that I want to do more, I think it makes me feel like filled with anticipation. I love that. Yeah, that's great. So how do you want to think? And how are you going to think the moment you reach the goal? And I want you to notice there's a kind of a different feeling here. So the first time you create 10,000 in a month, you're like, wow, I did it. That's great. I reached that goal. You're feeling like on fire, right? And then after a little while, you're like, well, of course, that's just who I am, right? I'm the person who always creates $10,000 or more every month. So notice how that progression and how you feel at the moment of achieving it, and the thinking that you have when you achieve it is one thing, and then you're going to continue to grow. Vasily, I want to do more. I just love that thought. Yeah, cool. All right. So now I want you guys to think of your one question. You've got a goal. Now let me give you these 4 criteria. If you've downloaded the handout, I've got the 4 criteria here. But you know what? Actually, I'd rather you just do it off the top of your head. Remember this idea. Will it make the boat go faster? Simple, easy to remember. Like many of you guys will know this. It'll just be like the gut. Oh, of course, that's my one question. I'm going to give you a minute. Write down your one question, and then we're going to put it through the 4 criteria and make sure that it satisfies the criteria. What's your question? More seconds, and then I'm going to share with you some other examples of one question examples, I guess I should say. Okay, back to me now. So here's some examples. Of course, will it make the boat go faster? We know that's an example. They wanted to win the gold, and to win they needed speed. So it really made sense, right? Another one, this is one of my questions for my weight loss journey. Will this nourish me and help me reach my goal weight? So notice that it's not just about food, that I'm doing it and I want to move in my weight loss journey with a certain quality, the quality of nourishment. I can go and lose a ton of weight just like that and then feel like crap and put it all back on again. And using this question, will this nourish me and help me reach my goal weight? The value there is it talks to me about sleep. Should I be getting a little bit more sleep? What about my water intake or how I move my body? Cheryl, good. I lost 104 pounds using probiotics and supplements. And that's not all, Cheryl. You also use commitment and dedication and decisiveness and making those choices even when it was hard. So there is a lot to the weight loss journey. But for me, when I think nourish, I think satisfied. Will I feel satisfied? I'm not doing this in a way that's going to make me feel deprived or resentful, or that somehow I can't just live my regular life. So that's one example. Another might be, will this help me become a fully booked coach? So let's talk about the 4 criteria. So as I create one question, I do it fast like that, just exactly the way I've asked you guys to do it, okay? And then I put it through these 4 little criteria just to make sure that I'm on the mark. The first is, will the question help me reach my goal? So if I'm talking about a weight loss journey, I'm not just going to talk about exercise. I've missed the mark, right? So will it help you reach your goal? Is the question appropriate? The second criteria, is it simple and easy to remember? The third, is it clear and to the point? And the fourth is, will it help me be decisive? Will I use that question frequently and answer yes or no? And then if it's a no, then I move on. I go to the next thing. I'm not doing that thing if it's a no. But if it's a yes, then I get to move forward with that. So share with me your 1 questions. You guys see my air quotes because it feels weird to say 1 question. Share with me your 1 question in the chat, please. Will it help me talk to more potential clients? Will this connect with my ideal client? Great. Okay. Vasily, so I don't have to scroll back in the chat. Could you tell me what the goal is that you want the 1 question to support? So is it about getting your message out? Is that your goal? Or is the goal to actually sign clients? Cheryl, is this daily task helping me reach my goal towards 35 new clients? Good. I like that too. Daniel, is it helping me move forward or keeping me stagnant or going backwards? Okay. Daniel, I would ask you the question about being really clear about what is moving forward. Loie, does this help me build a viable, brilliant coaching business? Powerful. Okay, so let me just go. Is it helping me move forward towards my goal, Daniel, or is it keeping me stagnant or going backwards? I would encourage you to shorten that 1 question, Daniel, and it could just be specifically, will this help me reach my goal? Instead of giving yourself because we want a yes, no, you might not need that keep me stagnant or going backwards part. Just giving you some thoughts there. Vasily, goal is to build sustainable and fulfilling coaching business. Okay, so let me just go back here. I want to see your 1 question. Will it help me talk to more potential clients? I would be, if your goal is a sustainable, fulfilling, and profitable coaching business, I can talk to a lot of people, but it doesn't necessarily help me create more clients. So you might want to look at the criteria and tighten up your wording on that, Vasily, and see if it really, if it kind of holds your feet to the fire, maybe would be how I would be asking you. Let's see where we go in here. Yeah, okay. Yes, like for me, if I want to build a sustainable, fulfilling coaching business, Vasily, I would say I would be very specific with my 90-day goal. 20 clients, or I coach 20 hours a week. That might be my goal. And then my question might be, will this help me create 20 clients? Conversation, discussions, communication may be part of that, but there might be other things too. So just kind of giving you a little bit of fine-tuning idea. Listen, you guys, I so appreciate you playing full out here and putting your information in here. And what I'm hoping is that you're going to learn from each other, watching the questions, watching the learning, and see how you can tweak your responses as well. Larry, will it help me find 5 targeted clients intending to engage? I like that. Daniel, my goal is to create a marketing message for my niche that is so impelling that I will be known as the authoritative figure. So I hope that I have your permission to kind of be a little bit of a tough nut here. I see a lot of people doing marketing, and they are sharing some amazing information. They're true experts, real authorities in their field. And the place that I would caution you with marketing message and a compelling marketing message known as an authority is it doesn't necessarily translate to clients. So notice that we can have authority and not monetize it at all. So be cautious there. Like, my guess is that if you're in this business, you already have a deep expertise and a desire to support people in whatever your niche is. So make sure that as you're looking at your one question, the question isn't sort of like chasing the parallel path to what you actually want. If what you want is a fully booked coaching practice, then we want clients. What do you need to do to reach clients? Being an authority doesn't necessarily bring you clients, but in being an authority and inviting people into your space, showing them how you can help them, now that might be a tweak for you to look at. I hope that this is helpful, you guys. Yes, marketing message will be to get them to speak with me. I have a very high success rate once I talk to them. Okay, I like that. Okay, and I can feel the decisiveness there. My belief is that all of our clients are one thought away from saying yes to us. And the thought that we want them to be looking at is, he could help me. I want to give him a call and have a chat with him. He seems like the kind of guy who could really help me reach my goal. When your potential client has that thought, they're going to reach out and talk to you. And then you've got your space, Daniel, for your conversation. Well done. Vasily, will this help me get a new client? Excellent. Yeah. And when we ask ourselves a question like that, there's kind of a bit of a gulp to it, right? Like, okay, that now I'm really being pointed about my actions. So some of the examples that I wrote down for people is this idea that especially as newer coaches or any newer business person, it's really easy for us to think that if we write another blog post, record another video, make a beautiful website, but none of those things are actually creating clients, getting out, talking to people. That's the thing, making connection with people. And it doesn't have to be like this face-to-face kind of talking, but if you do write, make sure that you're writing to that individual and it's placed in a place where they are able to find it and able to see it. So, and Daniel, good. Thank you. I agree. Vasily, you won't know until you try. Yes. And we have some pretty good ideas about ways to create clients. You know, reaching out to people that you know when you're first starting out, asking them not necessarily to be your client, but asking them to recommend you to people that you might be able to help. You've got some pretty good ideas. Super great. Now, did I miss something? I hope I didn't. Where am I here? Heather, will this connect with my ideal client? So same thing for you. You're gonna you could record the next episode for your podcast and it will connect. But then what's the result, right? Like that's the place that I would be a little bit firm with you is they might go, oh, that was so helpful. And you know that that's only the first step. So you want it to connect and you want them to say, I need more. If you were in my life, it would be faster, it would be easier. You know, my family would benefit so much by that. So fine tuning. I don't know if I think I've kind of responded to everything. Okay, cool. So what did you guys think? What do you think? Yeah, thanks, Cheryl. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thank you, Heather, Loie, good head nod. Okay, here's what I would love. I want you to take the one question that you've created. There's no such thing as perfect, right? You guys hear this, progress, not perfection. Take the question that you've got so far and use it. Write it on a Post-it note. Stick it in your work area. Put it on your desktop. Put it on your phone as the screensaver or on your Apple Watch or whatever, and use it and see how it changes. Does it make your life easier? Can you see that you're making faster progress? Can you see that you're making decisions faster? Like if we get decisive and we make quick, effective decisions, we can move mountains, right? It's when we get stuck in that second guessing complexity mess that we do nothing. But if you're making the decision and then get moving, make the decision, get moving, learn from what happens once you've done it. Daniel, that speaks to exactly the information that you gave to Vasily. You won't know until you try. Try it, see what happens, right? Let's see. And be kind to yourself if it's a complete flop. That's okay. That's part of the learning experience, right? Okay, so that was it for the one question. I hope you guys found that valuable. Any other questions? Larry, you had something earlier and you want to type it into the chat. Do you want me to address your question now? We've got just a couple minutes. And if I cannot fully respond to it, we'll do a little video and respond to it. Tasting the pudding. That's fun. Yeah. And I think for me, Daniel, the one question concept is kind of like part of the recipe for the pudding, and then you see how it tastes, right? All right, Larry, are you able to type your question in there? Because I think it's quite a ways back in the chat and I don't want to kind of try and interpret it. You may be at a different place now too, now that you've got this one question idea in your head. Anybody else have questions? You guys can type them in the chat. We got a couple more minutes. I can respond. Here to support you in any way I can. And we're timing this perfectly. You can see the sun coming around here onto the side of me. Larry, methodology to find targeted leads. Yeah, look, there's lots of ways. I know you know that, and I know that this is the problem, right? Is that there's too many ways. So let's go with this. What, for you, a targeted lead is somebody that you can speak to either on a podcast, written, on the phone, on Zoom, like communicate with somebody who is the kind of person that you would like to work with. That's how I'm going to define targeted leads. So the easiest way is to help people, is to create value. So that might be going on social media and making a post about what you're doing, actually offering helpful, truly helpful comments to people's questions. You might be part of Facebook groups. And I'm not talking, like, let me be super clear. I'm not talking about poaching in somebody's Facebook group. I'm talking about if you are in a particular Facebook group and you see a question, you're like, listen, I know this stuff. This I could really make a helpful response. Type those. Targeted leads as well, maybe reaching out to your warm circle. We always start with that group of people that are close to us, not to say to your friend or a cousin or whatever, will you be my client, but to say, hey, I'm doing this thing. I'm creating this new offering, and who do you know that might benefit? So asking them to give you referrals. Cheryl, that's what I do. Answer questions in Facebook groups. Yeah, I have found that really helpful. And like, I don't answer from a kind of a, I don't answer from with an ulterior motive. That's immaterial. If I'm out there giving value, if I actually help somebody, usually the person that I'm answering is never going to be my client, but somebody else is watching and they're like, oh, that's interesting. And they watch and they watch and they watch. But Larry, come back to me here with the targeted leads. Start with your warm circle. Make sure that you have an offer, something that will help people. People don't want coaching. They want the result of the coaching. Nobody wants coaching to lose 104 pounds, right, Cheryl? They want the loss. They want the weight loss. They don't care about coaching. It's only us coaches who love coaching. So make sure you have something to offer that is helpful for them. And then talk to your warm circle and say, listen, this is what I'm doing. Who do you know? And not even necessarily who do you know that might be interested in being my client, but who do you know that I could have a neat conversation with? We build our businesses really one contact at a time. Sometimes it's this person-to-person contact. Sometimes it's going into a Facebook group where multiple people might be able to see. People like Heather and myself, we both have podcasts. So a lot of people come to through my podcast to come and chat with me. I create that value to help a certain group of people, and then people get helped by it, and some of them reach out. So Larry, I hope that's helpful for you. And Cheryl, good. I like that approach. Yes, I use it as a learning activity. Daniel, I get them to talk about their pain points and then talk about what's possible. Yeah, what would life be like when you solve that challenge? I help them make their possibilities real. That's great. Thank you so much, you guys. Oh, my little alarm's going off. So today was a busy day. Oh, I missed one other thing here. Cheryl, I want to learn how to build a podcast. I have the woman for you. She is amazing. I've got your email. I'm going to send you a note. Her name is Michelle Abraham, and she is brilliant. Both Heather and I are clients of hers, and I cannot recommend her more highly. Okay. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Daniel, right? Love Michelle. I agree. Yeah. Okay. Thanks so much, you guys. Appreciate you joining. I hope that this was useful. And we just type in the bottom here. Thank you, everyone. What was the most useful thing before you sign off? What was the most useful thing in this time that we spent together? Thank you, Vasily. One question to help focus. Use the question. I want to see you next week. I want to hear how it goes. Clarifying my one question. Excellent. Larry, links to other resources. Good, good, good. Okay. Loie, just learning about the one powerful question helped. That's great. I'm glad that this was helpful, you guys. So awesome. Okay. Have a wonderful week. Go out and do your accomplishments. Cheryl, I owe you an email. You'll see it coming in a minute. And have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.